Yo, before we get to the video, if you struggle with being addicted to your phone and want to learn how to quit, I have a free community that you can join right now. Scroll down, click the top link in the description, and there's a full course that you can watch on how to beat your phone addiction. Now, with that being said, let's get to it. When I was 14 years old, basketball was everything to me. I would spend countless hours every single summer outside shooting jump shots, working on my dribbling, working on my finishing. I did a whole bunch of running just to be fast and have the best endurance on my team. And in the winter, I'm from Canada, so you can't play outside. But in the winter, I would spend hours just dribbling on the small concrete slab in my basement just to improve. I loved basketball more than anything, and I worked extremely hard at it. And I was really looking forward to my first season of high school basketball, and I thought I was going to do really well because I put all this time in. I was one of the best players on my team. Even though I was small, I was really skilled, and I did great in practice. I was hitting a bunch of shots, making a bunch of assists, and I was playing really well. But the thing was, when it came to games, I was trash. I barely even scored. I wouldn't really accept the ball much, and I would often just kind of like hide in the corner and like play defense, but I wasn't playing near to the capability that I knew I could. And this simply came down to one reason. I was overthinking about everything. There'd been a couple times where I'd make a mistake and get blocked, or I'd miss a shot or something, and it wasn't even like my teammates would get mad at me or anything. I would simply be too scared and too nervous to take the ball back and go try and do that again and go try and drive to the rim or be successful in that game. Like I knew I could do it. I know I could get past those defenders, but I would literally not take the ball just because I was too scared to make a mistake. And the anxiety that I would get in games, like, it bugged me, man. Like, it was like literally messing with my soul because I knew I was good and I thought, oh, I just need more practice. I just need more practice. But I was as good as I could possibly be for being 14 and 5'2", and I was good. I was really good, but I was simply too anxious in games, and I was too in my own head. And I've never really been one to be anxious, but after reflecting on why I used to play like that and why I had those insecurities, after reflecting on it, I've come to the conclusion that the anxiety and the insecurity that I had playing basketball came from one thing: spending too much time on social media. From the ages about 11 to 14, I spent a lot of time on social media, Instagram in particular. And like you probably know, social media is a place where young people's confidence goes to die and insecurities are born. Because on social media, we see all these people who are perfect, right? We see all these people who are successful and like doing well. We only see the highlights of people's lives. And when I was spending so much time on social media, a big amount of the content I consumed was related to basketball. It was seeing highlights and other people like doing really well, and especially a lot of like failures in basketball, of people being like humiliated or getting their ankles broken and or getting blocked really badly. And watching this content at the time, I thought it was just entertaining me. But what it was doing was providing a feedback loop to my brain, and I was learning from this content. I watched someone make a mistake in basketball and fall over or like do something bad, and then I'd see people liking that video and posting comments about how bad that player was or about how funny that moment was. And even though I was just a neutral bystander, this developed a pattern in my brain that associated making a mistake in basketball to being made fun of, and developed that insecurity that held me back from doing what I loved at the time. And now I didn't know this at the time, but around the age of 14, I knew I was spending far too much time on screens, and I deleted social media. I got off of Instagram. I was still spending a lot of time on YouTube and stuff, but I deleted Instagram. And over the next year, I didn't have basketball because COVID and everything shut everything down. But the next season I played in basketball, which was 2 years later, when I'd finally been on self-improvement for a while, been a lot more confident, grown a lot too, so I was a lot bigger. And the thing was, at this point in my life, I'd shifted my focus from basketball to music. Music had become the main thing I wanted to put my focus on, and still is to this day, and I'm grateful I made that decision. But I was far more successful in that season of basketball, even though I put significantly less time into practicing, significantly less time into working on my skills. But since I'd been away from social media and I'd done a lot of work to fix my mindset and try to overcome my insecurities as best as I could, I was a lot more successful playing basketball now than I was back then. And this is one of the main reasons why I got rid of social media, and I think you should as well. As teenagers, we are always worried about what other people think of us, right? It's natural to have insecurities. You can't be in middle school without being awkward and insecure. It's just the way middle school works. But insecurities and lack of confidence and social anxiety has been skyrocketed since the rise of social media. I'm not going to quote like a study or anything like that, because it is a known fact. You can see it all the time. It's known that my generation is anxious. It's known that my generation spends a lot of time thinking and worrying about what other people think of them. And what this causes us to do is to sacrifice things that are important in our life, like I did with basketball. I'd put all this time and all this work in, but just because I was insecure and afraid to take those chances, even though I knew I could be successful, I was still afraid to make those mistakes because of social media. I then sacrificed the success that I could have gotten in basketball and the fulfillment that it gave me in games, and not necessarily pushed me away from it because I still loved it, but it just took away a lot of the fulfillment that I could have got from that thing. And now that I've been on this self-improvement journey for long enough, and I've found things that are genuinely important to me, like YouTube, like music, like running these communities and stuff, and genuinely important to me, I am not going to sacrifice the fulfillment that I get from these things just for a little bit of entertainment from social media. My future and my passion and my purpose is far more important to me than the stimulation I could ever get off social media. And that is why I deleted it, and I think you should as well. Now, with that being said, if you don't know already, my name is Colby Wallace. I'm an 18-year-old artist from Canada, and if you like videos like this where I talk about self-improvement stuff and also want to hear some of my original music, you might as well subscribe. I'm not sure what you're waiting for. I've got a bunch of new videos and a bunch of cool content, lots of covers, lots of new originals and stuff coming very, very soon, and I really want you to see it. Also, if you're interested in joining that community and you want to learn how to break your phone addiction and also find your purpose, scroll down, click the top link in the description to join. My original music is also linked in the description. And with that being said, never stop creating, my friend, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.